All right, now key features of a quadratic function. The vocabulary that we went over, we're going to pretty much just hit, those are what the key features are. So when you're doing your activity, you're going to have to be able to identify some of these features. So when you look at this first graph, and I'm sorry, it's just a little bit fuzzy, there is a maximum and a minimum. Okay, we're just wanting you to circle what kind of curve it is. And so if you recall from the vocabulary, this is curving at the lowest spot possible. So therefore, this is a minimum. Okay, the axis of symmetry. Now, this is a little bit special. It's where you can divide the graph in half. So if I look on here, if I wanted to, I could fold this parabola in half right here. And that is at 1, 2, 3, 4. So since it's going across the x-axis, you have to put x equals, and then it's -4. So in axis of symmetry, the correct written way would be with x equals. Okay, now remember the vertex is just where the turning point is, where it starts to curve. So it starts to curve right here. And since it is curving right there, that is what we call the vertex. That is a point, and that point will be at -4. And it's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. So -7.5 because we went down. Okay, the x-intercepts. X-intercept just means where it's crossing the x-axis, and it's crossing at those 2 points. And so one of them is at -7, and the other one was at -1. The y-intercept, that's where it crosses the y-axis, and it's crossing the y-axis up here, and there will only always be one y-intercept. And so this crosses the y-intercept at +6, so we're going to have 0 and then 6. Okay, now domain is just how far left and how far right it goes. So if you look at this parabola and you follow it to the left, it's going up forever, but as it's going up, it also goes left forever. So it's going to keep going left forever. And then as I follow it, as it's going to the right, it's going up as it goes to the right, but it's also going right forever. So therefore, your domain will be all real numbers. Okay, now your range is how high and how low it goes. So this graph is going to go down, and it stops because it curves. It stops right there. That's as low as it goes. Since that's the lowest spot, that is at -7.5. And then I'm going to scan up and see how high it goes. And since this graph is going up and up forever, then that means it's only got one limitation. So you can write this as y and then greater than or equal to -7.5. And the reason we use greater than or equal to is because this graph is at -7.5 or above -7.5. Okay, for the other example, this graph is now opening down, so therefore it's curving at the highest spot. So this is a maximum. I can fold the parabola in half right here, and that makes my axis of symmetry x equals, and this is -1. The vertex is at the top of that axis of symmetry, and that is at -1 and 1, 2, 3, 4. The x-intercepts, where it's crossing the x-axis, these are at -3, and it's also at 1. Now remember, x-intercepts can be read as roots, solutions, zeros, so don't forget those 3 words. And your y-intercept, where it's crossing the y-axis, that would be right there, and it's crossing the y-axis. This time we're not going left or right any, but we did go up 3, so 0, 3. And then for domain and range, as I start at the axis of symmetry and I scan to the left, this graph is going to go down, but it's also going left as it's going down. So this is going to continue on and go left forever. As I scan to the right, the graph starts to go down, and it keeps going down forever, but it's going to gradually move to the right forever. So therefore, your domain is all real numbers. And last, your range. If you scan up and down, so if I scan down, it's going down forever because there's arrows saying it's going down. But if I scan up, it has a stopping spot right here. That stopping spot is at 4. So therefore, this time range is y, and I'm going to use 4. But since the graph is opening down, that means it's going to be less than or equal to 4 because the graph is below 4, so we need a less than symbol. But it does curve exactly at 4, so that's why we can use equal to. So that's how you find your key features.